put that together a long time ago, and it seems to be fitting. One of those days for sure. Um, First thing I want to do is thank all of you. Thank all of you for reaching out and uh, checking in, making sure I was okay. Hello, Jay Clayton, Stephanie, if you're out there, Nancy Halverson, Gene Shanky. Ooh, God, I need a drink. Um, yeah, Donald Devin from Northern Mississippi. Another one out there is heading to the Supreme Court. Yipe. Something. George Murray as well. Hello. As I started to say, I want to thank all of you for just being there. For just being there. Today was a rough day. It scared the crap out of me. But it leads me to, it led me to changing completely what I was going to be talking about today. Because today was a day for my grandchild ever. A very big day. A day that probably saved my grandchild's life. Certainly gave my grandchild a shot at having a normal life. Because my grandchild, and you'll notice I keep saying my grandchild, and I will be saying they, them, their. My grandchild has craniosynostosis, which is, I've said this to a number of you before, it is a rare birth thing that happens with, less than 1 in 1,000 children. But what happens is the plates that are supposed to be shifting and have a soft spot in the middle of your head grow together too soon, and it doesn't allow the brain to expand in the cranium the way it's supposed to. And unfortunately, the only way to deal with it is a rather extensive surgery. And I guess I'll explain that the same way that I did today in some of the posts. What they do is an incision around the head. They pull back the scalp. I know that to some of you, this is going to be, if you're squeamish, it might be time to turn away because the description is kind of woo. They pull back the scalp and they cut open the skull and remove the skull cap. If you saw the movie Hannibal, you know what I'm talking about. That is just about why they do it, or how they do it. And then they reshape the skull bones themselves and then put the whole thing back together, stitch everything up, and hopefully the child ends up being good as new and actually better than new because they have now room in their skull to have their brain expand. And that's what was done today. To the best of my knowledge, completely successful. One of Ever's mother, because this is going to get a little bit confusing for some of you. One of Ever's mothers, Happy Taco and Tequila Tuesday, smoke if you got some. It's not a bad idea. But anyway, one of Ever's parents, Carmela, is who took Ever to Dallas and has been updating us and updated us completely. Ever is fine. Surgery went as well as it could possibly go. And the only possible things to worry about now are infection and the possibility of after effects from anesthesia and stuff. Mel, had insisted that they go to a specific surgeon because this particular surgeon is reputed to be the best in the country for this particular operation. And all of that finally came together, got put on hold for a little while because of all of the COVIDiots out there doing their thing, and so many kids in the ICU, which that is where Ever is now. I have since seen a picture of them. They look beautiful, sleeping soundly, of course. So, anyway, now, this, however, is about that and another thing. And it is either or thinking limits us. It puts big limits on us. And it doesn't need to be that way. Either or is binary thinking. You know, the binary thinking, ones and zeros. It works okay for a computer, doesn't work real well for people. And if you'll remember, my last live was about multiple parties, and it applies there too. Binary thinking just isn't cutting it. It just isn't the way it is anymore. How this applies to Ever and everything else. Many of you have reached out and given me your best wishes and prayers, and for whatever reason, I guess it's the pictures that I posted most recently of Ever, who has beautiful long blonde hair, have wished my granddaughter, her well. Incorrect pronouns, folks, because, and this is the God's honest truth, I don't know Ever's gender. Yes, I am the grandfather. I am natural grandfather, blood grandfather. I've never held Ever. And I've never had the mixed blessing of, girls, what are you being so grumpy about? Stop it. Never had the mixed blessing of changing a diaper, so I don't know what Ever is. I don't know if Ever is a girl or a boy. And frankly, it doesn't matter. They have decided, Carmela and Adra, my daughter Adra, which we're going to get to there too, have decided that they are going to raise Ever gender neutral. And a lot of us, especially us my age, that's a lot to wrap your head around. I get it. It took me a while too, until I realized the thing. It doesn't matter one whit what Ever's gender is, especially now, especially today. It doesn't matter at all what their birth gender is that way. Ever will tell us what their gender is when the time comes. That time isn't here yet. I'm not worried about it. No one else should be worried about it. Also, I'm not really worried about you making the mistake to go to him or her, because it just doesn't matter. You know, binary definitions may have passed back in the 50s, but they don't now. It may have been an easy way to deal with things back in the 50s, but that isn't how it works anymore. Binary definitions, he, she, her, him, gay, straight, none of it really matters to begin with. Secondarily, those definitions just don't cut it anymore. We've evolved from that. Hello, Stephanie J. Hill, my little sugar in healing prayers. Yep, and my little sugar is fine. My little sugar is a great definition forever. He or she doesn't matter, but sweet little kid, that matters. And so, yeah. Exactly, George. The baby will make their choice. Ever will tell us who they are. And I'm perfectly okay with waiting till Ever tells us who they are. And now Ever has that chance. So good. But those binary definitions doesn't work. So many things and people are damaged by being pigeonholed, by being, a name, some kind of a label having to be put on it. Damages more good than it does. Oh, absolutely, Kathy. I fully understand that I am one of those people, and I struggle too. I get it, but it's okay to struggle. That's the whole point, to struggle, to work, to try to keep up with those definitions. I hate saying this, but I just got a news flash. The body they found was Gabby Petito. They have actually put out the coroner's report, and I'm sorry for the bad news, but yes, that was the body they found in Colorado. So, moving on from there, though, so many things are damaged for these being pigeonholed. And preconceptions being made. And I'll be honest with you. Here's what I'll go to me, and that is my early life and people who are gay. I had a bad experience. Some of you may remember when Me Too all came up a couple of years ago, I had to chime in with Me Too because I had been molested I don't have to say a child, at 12 or 13 years old. I had, I used to hang out at this place near my home called Twin Lakes. There was a guy that worked in the restaurant, burger shack kind of thing that was there, and I was there, and I didn't realize that something was going on, but he ended up getting me a little drunk, and I needed a ride home. It was only about 5 or 6 miles from my house. Normally I would have walked, but it was getting late, and I said, I need a ride home. I don't think I can walk, and he more than happily obliged. I didn't know that there was an ulterior motive. Drunk little 12, 13-year-old ass went to bed. I woke up in the very early morning hours to find this person's head in my lap, molesting me. I went through a big portion of my life hating gay men until I realized that had nothing to do with his being gay. That had everything to do with his victimizing a child, at which point I had to rethink that. So, we'll start there. Binary doesn't quite work. To sit there and have a hatred of somebody and assuming a thing about them doesn't work. That I have since obviously put that hatred away. And I'll take it a step further. Earlier I talked about Ever's mom, Carmela, Mel, and the blood relationship to me is not through Carmela. It is through my daughter, Adra. Now, that's probably a little confusing to you, but many of you have been told that I have a transgendered child. That would be my daughter, Adra. Adra was not born a girl. If you look at things by the mentality, if you look at things by the way they identify, yes, she was. Just happened to be born with gender identification stuff, junk, that didn't fit where her heart, mind, and soul were. She's all girl, and I didn't know it. I didn't know it at the time. Now, I just said that that is the genetic link to me, because that was how Adra and Carmela got together. It was before Adra called herself Adra, and they made a child. Now, here we go with the binary explanation thing again, because Adra also sexually identifies as gay, sexually identifies as a lesbian. Now, you all thought that it was a little hard to get your head around? Well, be dad and try to wrap your head around all of that. It took me a little while, but I did. Oh well, and when people go to that okay, then it must be a homosexual male. No, not really. It isn't as easy as that. It's that whole binary thing that you try to go to fit in little pigeonholes. It doesn't work that way. Defining people by their sexual orientation based on a perceived gender identity is just as difficult as any of the rest of it. Defining a person by their political affiliation is just as problematic. let's start with me. Guys, I'm a biker. I'm definitely a biker. I got that shit to my core. I'm also heterosexual. I got that shit to my core too. Big deal. I happen to be all of those things, but I have turned away from toxic masculinity, which always seems to be a part that people look at and see with bikers. It's not necessarily true. I know lots of bikers that are liberal. I know lots of bikers that, think the way I think. I know lots of bikers that are Democrats. If you think that Bikers for Trump was the majority, you're very wrong about that. Again, that is a binary thought pattern that just doesn't work. You got to take it a step further in all of that too, though, as far as politically, because the same thing is kind of true about Joe Manchin or Kristen Sinema. They're Democrats, but you look at it on the surface and it doesn't quite seem to fit because you're looking for this nice, easy, pat, binary explanation. We gravitate toward the oversimplification of complex issues. We all do it to a degree because it's comfortable. We're trying to stave off uncertainty. That's where a lot of it comes from. That's where it came from in my first issues with learning of my own child's gender identity. It came from my earliest remembrances of my being molested. We try to stave off uncertainty. The problem is that when people seek out the either or, one of the things they do is to stop questioning. Oh, Molly, do you need to get into all of this? Is this a part of your doing? Yes? Do you have feelings about this? Is there anything we need to discuss? Okay, well, thank you for the stingy kiss. But get down, dear girl. Binary thinking causes some real problems. It causes us to stop questioning. And when you stop questioning, you stop learning. And in the long run, that's a path to sure destruction. As soon as we turn away from finding out new things, we have a big issue on our hands. Binary thinking creates a polarized society. And the other thing that it does is creates a confirmation bias. That in turn ends up stifling perspective and growth and societal development. You start stepping all over the questions. You start just tuning into your echo chamber, and you are assuredly going to rule out other thinking that is bigger, better, and beyond yours. You start doing that, and you immediately truncate development. It isn't just the fault of those developing these truncated perspectives, for lack of a better word. Social media, information outlets, news, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, Newsmax, OAN. Some of them I don't even think are news, but all of the big information sources we use, every single one of them has algorithms that tend to reinforce what you already think, especially online, because right there they have the computer evidence of what you think. So they feed you more and more and more and more, and you've got to step outside of that, or we are all going to fall victim to it. I would ask any of you, how many things do you see in the ads that pop up on your timeline that you already purchased? You went looking for this thing 2 months ago, and now you're getting inundated with it over and over and over again. It's the same thing with articles that pop up. if you believe that Trump won the election and somehow there was this mass conspiracy to steal it from him, you are going to find similar people out there who are willing to believe the same thing. It's also the same with us. If you honestly believe that every single person that voted for Donald Trump did so because they're a racist puke, you're just as guilty of it. That isn't why they all voted for him. The reasons they did, I don't feel legitimize his presidency. But that is, once again, that binary us, them, either or thinking. It's just as dangerous putting it on every other person that has an R in front of their name. It gets dangerous when those seeking each other out are extremists. Whether it's political extremists, religious extremists, whatever. It gets dangerous when they seek each other out for a really simple reason. Kind of one of those things that's biblical, so it means something to me, even though the Bible has all kinds of contradictions. Seek and you will find. Same thing with politics and binary thinking. Seek it out, you'll find it. I promise you, you'll find it. Get up there. Politically, that's even more dangerous. Where? Let's think about that for a minute. Binary thinking. Pre-war Europe had some real problems, especially in Germany, because there were reparations they had to pay. The economy was absolutely in the tank after World War I. There were 1,000 things going wrong, and everybody started seeking somebody to blame, and sure enough, not only did they find somebody to blame, they found somebody who would voice that for them in Adolf Hitler. He found those that he was seeking, and they found him. We had the same thing with McCarthy in the 50s. Stop it. Both of you. I will take that right away from you, Rachel. McCarthyism in the 50s. Everybody was a communist. You could find them everywhere because if you sought out people that believed that, you would find the people that agreed with you on these stupid points. Trump and his crew today, it's the same thing. Rachel doesn't like McCarthy. Oh, you're talking about the McCarthy now. I'm talking about McCarthyism in the 50s, the Red Scare. But it's the same thing. It's binary thinking that isn't going to help. Exactly, Kathy. Don't judge people by their political affiliation. It's too easy to judge them. It's easy to get mad, but probably not the best idea, because if you look at that person a little closer, you're going to find that person is still worthwhile. That person is somebody you care about. That person, all those gay people that I hated for so long, I don't know, all those people that I couldn't understand. What do you mean? You were born with a penis. You're a boy. My beautiful grandchild ever. I don't know what gender they are, and it's okay. That's getting away from binary thinking. You've got to take a look at Trump blaming minorities for anything and everything that is wrong with this country. Look at how many ways he's done it. And that, in turn, fostering an already existent focus of hate. It's a vicious cycle. Binary thinking keeps us in this vicious cycle. Easy to find the people that you hate. It's and to focus it. In Trump's case, it's pretty much a lot of racism that he spouts. And there are other people that feel that way. They're wrong about it, but if you seek it out, you will find it. It's easy enough to break it, too. Seek out different information. That doesn't mean give in to everything that everybody on the right says. That isn't what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is to seek out different information. Break that cycle. And that's got to start with breaking, however, your own biases. That's what it had to start with for me with my child, and in turn, my grandchild. I had to break my own biases. I don't know what gender my grandchild is. Is that important? I still love the crap out of that little kid. Even though I don't know, and they and I have never met. We will. I love them, and that's okay. It's easy to see black and white. Just look for the things that you're already certain of. Just keep looking for the things that you're certain of, and you will find them. I promise you. Trouble is, the world isn't that binary. Trying to remove the gray areas will cause just another problem, too. Oh, wait a minute, I like it when I'm certain of this, when I'm certain of that. Trying to remove those things that make you uncertain is going to cause just as much of a problem. It'll just create more violence and more misunderstanding, so you can't go down that route either. The answer isn't to bend others to your way of thinking so much as it is to bending your way of thinking. Again, the answer isn't so much to bend others to your way of thinking, but to bend your way of thinking. That requires listening to other ideas and perspectives and accepting the fallibilities of your own notions. I've been wrong about so many goddamn things. I can't count them. And any kind of hatred that I have held based on one bias or another is definitely a part of that I have been wrong. It requires listening to those other ideas and perspectives. We humans are a stubborn, persistent lot. Think, however, where we can get to apply that tendency and make it good. Where we can apply our stubbornness and our persistence. One of the ways is to apply those tendencies to seeking rather than rejecting change and reform. For ever's sake. I hope we can do that. I know it's not going to be easy, but I hope we can do that. Anyway, that's what I've got today. That's where I came from today. And you're talking about the fairness doctrines. Yeah, well, maybe I am. I'll have to go back and reread that. I have read it, but that's not where my head is today. My head is wrapped around that beautiful little blonde child who I've never changed a diaper, so I don't have any clue what kind of junk they've got, and I really don't care. I care that that beautiful child is doing well. That beautiful child made it through surgery and is going to have a shot at a good, normal life. Whatever that means. It's going to mean something different in Ever's generation. I promise you that. Anyway, well, thank you, Maria. I don't know who you were responding to. I'll go back when I go in through. I wasn't looking too much at comments. I apologize. I will be later on. Anyway, that's what's going on with me. Again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your care, for your comments given to me, for your good energy given to that beautiful child. Oh my God, I have this thing so loud and I just got a message. Anyway, if you'd like to share something with me, whether it be a hat, a t-shirt, a hello, just a card telling me how you're doing, if you want to make a monetary donation, if you specifically want to, if you want to send some kind of a gift or something forever, I will see to it that it gets to that beautiful child. You can do all of that right there. Post Office Box 853, Spencer, Tennessee 38585. I love getting those things. I love seeing them. Again, Post Office Box 853, Spencer, Tennessee 38585. Uh, I can spell. Well, I don't, you must have put something up there and you can't. And that's okay too. Spelling's a little bit binary all by itself. Anyhow, that's what I've got today. I couldn't be in a more joyous, thankful mood than I am right now. I hope that that carries over to some of you. I'll talk to you soon. I love you, America. Share this shit.